If you hadn't guessed, GODFORGE is going to have a roster full of different gods and legendary heroes, actually from different cultures all around the world. And I actually want to do a justice and showcase all the different cultures and a little bit of info or lore between the god or the hero that is in the game, so you guys can understand how much of a scope this team is willing to go at and showcase. Look, there is a wider range of gods than just the mainstream ones. So with that said, let's actually start off with a mainstream god. Everyone should know Egyptian gods. Egyptian gods are kind of known everywhere around the world, and the first one is no exception. This is going to be Anubis. You can see this image as well on various videos, or if you go onto their official Discord, you're going to be able to go on the Friday leaks. It's on the community announcement side, and you're going to be able to just easily scroll up and look through all of these images yourself too. But Anubis is the Egyptian god or caretaker of the dead, and if you wanted to research this, it's quite easy. Just go on Google. Google is your answer, guys. You should know this, but Google will tell you the same. Anubis, the ancient Egyptian god of the funerary practices and care of the dead. So it's represented by a jackal. It's very iconic within Egyptian culture. So that is the first god. Nothing too crazy. I honestly love the whole design of this god. You can see his scythe, his like Reaper scythe in the Discord too, but I didn't want to spoil too much on all of these heroes. I kind of want to leave a little bit of excitement for you guys, but I love this whole design. This design looks amazing. It's a lot different than what I've normally seen for an Anubis, right? It actually almost gives me, sounds weird, but like a druidic vibe, like a druid, right? It's a lot more different compared to this really blinged out golden Egyptian aesthetic you normally always see them have, and you will see that in some future different gods as a little future spoiler. So with that said, let's get into the next one. The next god or image we showcase is a dragon. You're probably wondering, oh, why is there a dragon in this game? But
hold up, wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Before you judge, because this is a very important culture within the Chinese realm, because this is no other than one of the 4 Chinese dragon gods of the seas. And yes, you've heard me right, there is these crazy dragons that all rule the seas and have different elements and color to them. And if you do a little bit of research on it, you will find this yourself. This is called Dragon Kings of the 4 Seas. This is a nice little quick educational area you can find. But when you scroll down here, you'll see worshipped by many Chinese villagers for the good weather. And the one we have, the red one, is called Ao Kin. So this is Ao Kin. I could be pronouncing it wrong. It could be Ao Shin maybe. So if it's Ao Shin, I do apologize. I'm not fluent in Chinese, obviously, but he governs the South Chinese Sea and is also known as the Red Dragon. He's the essence of summer and represents the fire element, and that's really cool because the thing is, we've seen the Red Dragon. You can maybe assume in the future in different boss raids, because this could be a boss, right? Could be anything to do with the dungeons in the game. It might not be something you play as, right? But there could be 4 of them. 4 different versions of them, right? And each could have their own difficulty, different resistances, because you can see each dragon does represent a different thing. So we have one for water, one for fire, one for metal, and one for also water, right? So we have all of the 4 kind of major elements within the Chinese culture. So you can see where this all derives from now. And this is why it's really interesting to see this kind of concept art, because I actually love it. I love Chinese style gods. I actually love the Chinese style animations too. I think it's very unique and it's very flamboyant, if you want to say, and just completely different to how traditional gods do, particularly, are created from the Western side. So love this, Ao Kin, and potentially we could be getting all 4 Chinese Dragon Kings of the 4 Seas. So very, very excited to look forward to. So let's go into the next one. So the next one is really kind of a guess. I'm not going to lie. A lot of people have been saying this is just a generic kind of model, but that isn't. There isn't a generic model at all, because there is the Friday leak, and the Friday leak does hint to who this could be, because it does talk about the god of love, or do you like love and stuff like that. But the problem is with the god of love, we all know that is Cupid, and Cupid is generally depicted as a child. But who this particular goddess is, I believe, is the one and only Aphrodite. You heard right, the ancient goddess of beauty and love, basically, or sexual love. And that is the purpose of this very sexualized, you know, woman, if you want to say, with the little gown sweeping around, because that is honestly a way within the Greek mythology she's always been perceived. She's been perceived as this god. So I actually do think this is Aphrodite. It's not just a generic model that you're going to be getting. This is someone very, very important within Greek mythology. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little kind of dissect. And if you didn't guess that already, shame on you. You should be scratching off your bingo card right about now. So the next hero we're going to be talking about is Brunhild, and this is a Norse mythology character within their stories, and this is a Valkyrie. So this isn't particularly a main god like someone like Odin or Thor that you might be aware of. This is a Valkyrie. They serve a different purpose within the stories and their own little faction. And the cool thing about the Valkyries, and especially this Valkyrie, Brunhild, in Norse tradition, you can see she is a shieldman Valkyrie that as well was the female deity in service to the chief god Odin. And in German Norse mythology, if you want to look this up, which is really cool, she was the instrument on defeating Sigurd or Siegfried, depending on the variants on the names, as well as marrying, I believe, Gunnar later down the line. So this is a really important hero in the Valkyrie line within Norse mythology that you guys might not think at first is going to be an important character, but she is definitely massive within here, and any of the Norse fans will definitely be very, very happy to see her. And to be honest, the design is great. I must admit, I love the design from her. Everything you can imagine as Valk, these wings that kind of almost depicted to have. So very Valk-like, very happy to see her, and I can't wait for the next hero. Oh, Icarus, Icarus, Icarus. If you know the story of Icarus, this was the boy who flew too close to the sun, and this is where his wax wings melted, and he basically fell down, right? Fell out the floor. But the cool thing about Icarus, which you guys might not have known, the whole weapon he has is called the Daedalus. And the Daedalus was created by his father. His father actually created this. He was the inventor of this weapon, and he used it, Icarus, should I say, used it as his main weapon of choice. And this is a really cool story, and I actually love the design of Icarus. You can see here, and the bow. The bow looks amazing. I can definitely see this kind of like on a Diablo game, this kind of like almost evilish, but like I can't pronounce it, like chaos style fireball. It's really cool to see compared to what a lot of people have Icarus depicted as, because when you go onto Google, again, you can look up Icarus. He's in Greek mythology, son of the event of the Daedalus. You can see perished too close to the sun. Unfortunate for my dude. But when you go to the images of Icarus, he's always this like guy with like a normal bow, right? So kind of this cool, nice normal bow. But I like the fact that in GODFORGE, they've given it kind of this sun, right? Because he did fly too close to the sun. So it's a kind of little Easter egg, I think, that the arrows are like on fire, and they've got this little tip of almost the sun themselves. I love it. I actually love this whole design for him, and I think this was very, very clever for Icarus. So I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of him, and let's go to the next one. So the next person we're going to be talking about is a worshipper or main follower, again, within the Egyptian area, and this is no other than Emot. And a lot of people have mixed feelings, I believe, from the reviews I've read and seen on this model design. But the thing is, I actually love the model design, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Emot in particular, because the thing is, a lot of people don't realize Emot was no crazy, you know, depicted maniac, right, on The Mummy, right? If you've seen the Mummy movie, you know exactly what I'm trying. However, Emot was the high priest of the Ra, right, the sun god. He was the high priest of that god. And the thing is, with worshippers and the high priests, yes, they were very looked upon in society, but they did not believe they were any greater than the gods they were worshipping, right? And the thing is, I like the way they brought this design for Emotep. It clearly shows a distinction, right? A clear distinction between what a god was perceived as, this crazy, massive, luxurious person or being in history, while the worshippers and the priests were more like a scholar, like a normal person that wore gowns, and they might have had a couple of jewelry on, but they weren't over the top because they understood they were no better than the gods, right? The gods they worshipped were stronger, greater, they could change anything within their traditions. And I love that. I actually love the whole concept of Emotep here, and a little bit of, again, information for you guys. You can type this guy up on Google. He'll type everything in. He's even the boy in the mummy. Ring. I love this. So you can see him. He's all here, kind of crazy in that film, but he was like I said, the high priest of the sun god Ra at the Heliopolis. Bit of a tongue twister there, but there you go. The Emotep, a little bit of info there. I hope you guys enjoyed this section and my little breakdown on him. So let's carry on with this video. Let's get to the next one. So the next hero we have is within the British culture, somewhere I know, and this was, if I didn't know this guy, I should be shot at, the stake, basically. I should be hung up to dry down in London, because this is no other than King Arthur himself. Basically, in legends, King Arthur was the guy who wielded Excalibur, right? The main man who could do anything within the British Empire, and was honestly a massive central figure within our tradition, which is really, really cool. And the cool thing is, again, if you didn't know anything about King Arthur somehow, or you've never heard of Excalibur.
Who said that I was a chef?
Dude, nothing you're saying makes any sense.
Here's a quick little Google. Again, you can click on Wikipedia if you really, really wanted to. Is it based on a true story? It's not really much of a proper true story with Excalibur, but he did believe in the god, right? He believed in Christianity, and he believed that his purpose was stronger, and he had this holy sword that basically made him invincible. So that's the kind of whole story of it. So King Arthur, love to see him in the whole game, and I'm not gonna lie, love the whole design, especially the lion on the chest. Very, very depicted. That is like Braveheart, Lionheart, basically, of the king himself. So really good. Can't wait to see this guy in action, see what his skills and moves are able to do within GODFORGE. So let's move on to the next one, because there's so many to get through in today's video. So the next screenshot is one of the hardest ones to figure out, because when you go and try and find this guy's name, they've nicknamed the screenshot and all of the title footage as Kigi. Kigi is a Japanese or Chinese term. I believe it's Japanese, and it's not what you think. Kigi, if we go to Google and type it in like always and find out what it means, it's actually a chronicle of myths and legends that all came. So it's almost like a concept. So here if you type it in, Kigi, also sometimes read as these two other words, but it's an early Japanese chronicle of myths, legends, hymns, and genealogies. So what this kind of means is this person we're looking at could be one of the story swordsmen within the Japanese culture. And that's what I think a lot of people are actually missing out when you read the whole Kigi name. And what we mean by that is, if we go again into Japanese culture here, you can see they've got some of the greatest samurais of all time. So this could be any of these guys. This could be Miyamoto Musashi. We've got all the way down to Oda Nobunaga. You can see how many of these different people there is, right? So this swordsman could be any of these legendary Japanese swordsman within history, and that's kind of what I love. And the fact that they've opened the door to that means we're gonna get some crazy guys. And I'm just saying, if we get Kitsune in there, guys, this is gonna be kind of crazy. I'm just gonna say, right? So that is the Japanese swordsman. I actually love the whole aesthetic of him with this kind of windish, shield guard on his shoulder there with the double sword. So that could be a little bit of an indicator of who this guy is. And if you want me to kind of find out who he is, let me know in the comment section down below, and I might do my Sherlock Holmes and do a deep dive and figure out who this guy actually is within GODFORGE. So let's go into the next hero, and we're almost there, guys. We've only got 7 more to go, but I hope you've enjoyed this video so far and the effort I've put into research and give you guys a little bit of information on each of the gods or heroes in the game GODFORGE. Now, this god is the easiest one to guess who he is, right? If you did not know this god, I don't think you've been playing god games at all in your life, or you actually got any interest in gods, because this is no other than Odin. Odin, the All-Father. Everyone knows the man. He's the god of both war and death. He's the man who's basically telling you if you go into Valhalla. He is the one who looked, I believe, into the Yggdrasil tree and consumed infinite knowledge, and that's what consumed him to basically try and chase the end of the world and try and stop it from happening, right? And again, amazing character to depict in this game, and I would have been really sad, honestly, if Odin wasn't in this game, right? So Odin already, you guys have been waiting for the main man, he is here already. So don't need to go too crazy on this guy compared to everyone else. I love the design of him. If you guys are wondering, this is his spear. I believe his spear, if I remember correctly, is Gungnir. I could type it in and verify live. Why not? It is Gungnir, aka the Spear of Heaven, the three-pronged, that only he can wield. So I love that. I love how they've got everything bang on perfect, and the inspiration of that spear compared to the way he's actually dressed. So love it, love it. Let's go to the next one. Next hero on the list. I'm going to be talking about 2 gods at the same time here, because they are pretty much, I wouldn't say identical, but they are very similar in what they were doing. However, one was named Horus, which is on screen right now. And Horus is an Egyptian god. If you guys did not know this, Horus was the most significant within all of the Egyptian deities. He served many functions, and again, you can see notably kingship, healing, protection, sun, and the sky. I've just basically copied and pasted the exact same thing Wikipedia said. You can look down here and it's everywhere. This guy was the main man, and he was married, as you can see, goddess of Hathor, which is kind of cool. And the next god that I'm going to be talking about is no other than Ra, because Ra is also the patron of the sun, the heaven, the kingship, the power, and the light. So he wasn't the one, you know, who only governed the actions of the sun, since Horus was able to do this too, but he was more of the king of the deities, you can see, right? He was the father of all creation compared to Horus, which served different things. And the thing is, when you look at both of these guys, I'm going to be honest, guys, you look at both of these, this is what Horus looks like. And if we go across all the way to the right image so you guys can see, you will have Ra, and Ra is very interesting indeed, right? He's got a lot more of a bird-like aesthetic. You can see the sun being engraved into this kind of like top, you know, halo, which is kind of cool. And again, all of his weapons you see there, maybe he transforms stances potentially, and each stance has a different weapon, who knows, but you can see these 3 different snaps. So I kind of wanted to put both of these heroes together, Ra and Horus, because to be honest, I do get kind of confused myself on both of these gods, but they are 2 different gods. So do remember that. Ra and Horus. So both Egyptian gods are now in. So let's go to the next one. The next one, which is going to be a little bit less confusing than any of the others we've gone through so far. So the next person on screen is a very well-known man within Egyptian legends, and that is no other than Ramses. So Ramses is the one and only commander or general that allowed the expansion of the Egyptian borders. So basically allowing Egypt to grow and grow and grow and get so much influence during that time period. And even so, if we go on Google, they will tell you a little bit more information on this, which is more important. He was also known, you can see, for his architectural creations, such as the Ramsemium and the Abu Simbel Temple, among others, which is really cool. So a really important figure again within the Egyptian culture, and I'm glad to again see more of these peeps in. So I can't wait to see this full roster so far. They are definitely going the full mile introducing the gods as well as the heroes or warriors within the culture too, to play alongside within GODFORGE. So let's go to the next one, which might catch you guys completely off guard. And yes, it's a dog. I know, a dog. It's crazy, I know. But this dog is actually something very important, because this could be a couple of different dogs. This is interesting, right? Because I know in myself, one god in particular, and I know this isn't him. This could have been Fenrir, which is a Norse mythology wolfhound. It was the son of Loki, which sounds a little bit crazy, I know, but he ripped off the hand of Tyr the blacksmith within the whole story. However, there is also other gods. There is the god named Shiva again, which is a god dog, if you want to say. There's also Anubis, as you guys know. So this could be many different things within the game. I honestly don't know who this pooch is. Maybe one of you guys in the comment section below would be able to try and deep dive in it. I do believe the crystal there is a lot more purposeful. Maybe it's something to do with the Valkyries. If there was a dog within the Valks, this could be very, you know, within that realm, because it is giving me more Norse vibes over anywhere in the world. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But this is another kind of god or creature that we're going to have in the game. Is it going to be a boss? Is it going to be a pet? Is it something that's summoned? Who knows? Who knows? But it is included in the screenshot, so I wanted to kind of add the good boy into the whole pile before we get to the final 3 images of today's video. And good old Sparta. That is the one and only Spartans here. Yes, we have them in game, but this hasn't no name to it. That's the sad thing. We don't know if this is going to be a god or if this is going to be just a Spartan warrior, because this could be Leonidas, right? Everyone knows the name Leonidas within all of the Spartan culture. He's in 300. He's everywhere. Everyone knows him. So this could be, obviously, him. However, this could also be the god of war, right? Apollo, god of war of Sparta. This could have been him. Some people do depict him to look similar to like this, right? The god of war. So really, really cool. I love the whole concept. I want to know, obviously, if this is going to be Leonidas or the god of war in culture, but really fantastic design. Nothing too crazy. It doesn't need to be, because it's a Spartan, right? But it hits every mark. So I actually think out of all the models, this and Anubis have been, like, honestly 10 out of 10. I actually think these 2 models are 10 out of 10 because of how they're actually been depicted compared to everyone else, and just kind of like accuracies, as well as just not going over crazy board on them, right? So I'd love to see it. So now let's get to the next one, the second to last hero in the pile. So the next god or legend, shall I say, is in my own culture again. We've got another British person. Love it. Love the British. Thank you, Hell Hades and others that are bringing some of our known kind of myths and legends to grasp. And if you don't know who the Fisher King is, it's understandable, because he is a little bit of a weird one. However, he is the guy that was in the protection of the Holy Grail. Oh yeah, boys, this was the man, the knight and the myth, the legend, who served basically to protect it. And if we can go and Google here again, like always, Wikipedia does actually a very good job actually explaining this compared to a lot of other places. But the Fisher King is an Arthurian legend, as you can see, born in a long line of British kings, tasked with the guardian of the Holy Grail. So really, really cool little story there. Obviously, this might mean in, you know, GODFORGE, we could have a game mode like that. Imagine the game mode is to try and protect the Holy Grail, and you have to just keep defending wave after wave after wave, and you know, it's like a roguelike, you know, and each wave you could be getting better and better power-ups and maybe tweaking your teams in a draft to protect the Holy Grail. And the Fisher King could be maybe the end boss every 5 or 10 stages or something. Maybe it's like a corrupted version trying to steal it away from you, who knows. But Fisher King, love to see it, and the whole design on this guy looks absolutely crazy. I couldn't find any sort of, like, you know, colored version yet. I don't mind that. I actually don't mind that. So I do wonder how this guy is gonna look. I'm gonna say I am digging more of this black, dark kind of armor setup. So I wonder which route they go. Are they going to make him look kind of evil, or are they going to make him actually the Holy Knight that he actually is. So really, really interesting. And then the final, we got to the final. We're at the final one, guys. The final actual one. And this guy is going to be crazy because I honestly had to take notes. So as I've done this video, guys, if you've not noticed, I have done the old school, write everything down. I've wrote all the gods down here, where they were from and stuff, as well as obviously participate in here. And this guy is kind of crazy. He's a Chinese god. And I didn't know this, but if this was an anime character, this would be the guy, I'm telling you. So his name, from what I have researched, if I'm correct, that is, if I am correct, is Yan Wang. So Yan Wang, the god, and not the person, was the most feared Chinese god within their belief system, which is insane. You can see this guy is already going to be a menace to society, right? But this guy was basically the god of death. The god of death and the ruler of DU, overseeing the 10 kings of hell and its capital of Yordu. Like, bruh. This could be an anime all in its own, and they're bringing this guy over into the game. I cannot wait, honestly, if each season we get to, you know, a little bit of a story, right? Maybe season 1 is a, you know, introduction of all the gods. Maybe season 2 later on is we go into, you know, Chinese mythology and we have to fight against Yan Wang here, right? And go down all of these 10 kings of hell. That sounds insane. I cannot wait for that, right? So that is basically, honestly, guys, the gods, everything today that I'm going to go over, and I hope you've enjoyed the video and a little bit of lore between all of the characters and the legends, the myths, the gods, everything that I've been able to compile in this video. It's nothing too crazy, but it's been a good time. I've enjoyed it. I've done my research, and I hope you guys have been inspired to do a little bit of your own research and check out GODFORGE and the Fateless team. And if you enjoyed the video, smash like, comment, and subscribe. Until the next one, stay safe, stay sneaky, guys. Peace out.